It's Wednesday, April 1st. Welcome back, Foxy Games UK new and existing subscribers. So, PS5's pricing may have been revealed, and if accurate, may surprise a lot of you. And the new details have really surfaced regarding PS5's spec and how it won't be as impacted by its competitors' more powerful 12 teraflop GPU and more. Sourced via WCCFtech.com. Here's the full story. So PlayStation 5's GPU will be supported by better hardware solutions, suggested by a recent in-depth analysis. Now the full article is linked in this video's description for your perusal, but for sure most of us are pretty much aware that Sony's upcoming next-gen console PS5 will feature a weaker GPU compared to the Xbox Series X, though it appears developers continue to praise the console. PS5's raw specs are definitely not painting the whole picture, and a recent in-depth analysis suggests that Sony's next-gen console's GPU will have a better system supporting it, resulting in better overall performance. On his blog, James Prendergast has been providing a very interesting ongoing analysis of the next generation of consoles. Based on what he has already revealed so far, and what's been revealed so far is his latest post. He took a look at how the RAM and the I/O and SSD speed and functionality will make a difference, considering the CPU difference between the consoles are pretty much minimal. Here's a quote. "We've been hearing for months that there's not much between the two devices from Microsoft and Sony, with sources on both sides of the argument claiming that each console has an advantage in specific scenarios. Incontrovertibly, Microsoft has the more performant graphics capabilities with its 1.4 times the physical makeup of the PlayStation 5's GPU core. That's only part of the story though, with the PS5 running a minimum 1.2 times faster than the Series X across the majority of workload scenarios. That narrows the advantage of the SX in terms of pure averaged GPU compute power to around 1.8 times or 1.2 times that of PS5. But what about the CPU? Performing the same simple ratio calculation, you can work out that the SX is around 1.02 times to 1.10 times more powerful than the PS5's, depending on the scenario. Now, that's not a big difference really, and the CPU/GPU could sport pretty much the same feature set on both consoles. Taking a look at the RAM configuration of both consoles, the analysis highlights how the Xbox Series X configuration is suboptimal, as the asymmetric configuration used for the console can lead to reduced bandwidth once the symmetrical portion is full. Now, do you remember I said long before this came out that the PS5 will suffer far fewer bandwidth scenarios than the Xbox Series X? Okay, here it is. Now the PlayStation 5 configuration on the other hand allows a static bandwidth for the entire 16GB of GDDR6 RAM. Prendergast went on to say, "The SX has a 2.5GB reserved for system functions, and we don't know how much the PS5 reserves for that similar functionality, but it doesn't matter. The Xbox SX either has only 7.5GB of interleaved memory operating at around 560 gigabits per second for game utilization before it has to start lowering the effective bandwidth of the memory below that of the PS5, or the SX has an average mixed memory bandwidth that is always below that of the baseline PS4. Either option puts the SX at a disadvantage to the PS5 for more memory intensive games, and the latter puts it at a disadvantage all of the time." Now, taking a look at the I/O and SSD access, the analysis highlights how the Xbox Series X simply has a slower interface over PS5's. The solution used by Sony's console allows for better data management within the RAM as well, allowing for more or less frequent reloading of data into the RAM, improving system efficiency. Now, putting everything together, including how the PlayStation 5 audio hardware will take less CPU power compared to the Xbox SX, and the analysis reveals that PlayStation 5 has the bandwidth and I/O silicon in place to optimize the transfer, really data transfer between all the various computing and storage elements. The Xbox Series X, on the other hand, has suboptimal implementations that are going to perform below the specs of the PS5 despite the inclusion of smart prediction engines. Yes, the PS5 has a narrower GPU, but the system supporting the GPU is much stronger and more in line with the GPU as expected, ready to be handed to it. Prendergast there. So there you have it. How much is the discerning gaming public How much are they expected to pay for this thing? Well, it may or may not come as a surprise to you, but reports suggest PS5 will be priced extremely competitively, as low as $400 or even 399 Great British pounds. Now, while this figure remains firmly entrenched in rumored territory, and some sites are fairly skeptical about that low $400 price point, especially considering what's on offer here, it can't be understated as to just how price conscious Sony Interactive Entertainment are when it comes to delivering new hardware. Though indeed, if the price rumor holds any water at all, and given the PS5 price leak is insanely low, should Microsoft be worried about the Xbox Series X pricing strategy going forward? So asks tech site T3.com. And a rather poignant question, is the PS5 undercutting the Xbox Series X? So PS5 looks like a seriously impressive feat of gaming engineering, with the next generation ray tracing huge level design set to change gaming forever made possible by those massive solid state drives, backwards compatibility and spatial 3D audio set to provide an enormous leap forward. Booting up that console for the first time is going to be a thing of absolute beauty. Now the race is tight between Sony's PS5 and its rival, the Xbox Series X, with similar specifications, potentially more graphical power on Microsoft's part, and a close run holiday 2020 release date. It's not clear which console is going to outsell the other in the first battle of the next generation console war, but if you judge it on games, it might be clear to more than a few people. However, our latest PS5 leak might tip the balance in Sony's favour by undercutting the Xbox Series X in the pricing stakes. Both Sony and Microsoft have been reluctant to reveal the price of the consoles, and it's understandable, sets the goalposts, but we may have just found out the PS5's price regardless, as news outlet Notebook Check reveals Canadian store Play and Trade Vancouver Island has begun PS5 pre-orders, and they start at $600. The store is reportedly pricing the console at Canadian $559.99 on the Play and Trade Facebook page. Converted, that is around 320 UK pounds or around $395 US. That's a lot cheaper than expected for sure. And with all the hardware set to be baked in to PlayStation 5, we're expecting a launch price of around $400 to $450. But a sub $350 price would surely undercut the Xbox Series X and make a PlayStation 5 for Christmas a more attractive prospect for parents or shoppers who aren't really brand loyal to Xbox. Bear in mind, the PS4 has moved over 100 million units to date and it's rising, and if Sony hope to emulate that success with PS5, its price certainly needs to remain conservative. Though what say you? Go ahead, sound off, share your thoughts and opinions on today's news, because that unfortunately brings us to the end of another video, but let's continue the discussion cordially in the comments. And for all your current and next gen news updates, rumour and rampant speculation, why not hit the like button, spread the word and keep it locked to Foxy Games UK. Remember, relevant links where applicable can be found in this video's description. Subscribe to Foxy Games UK, remember to hit the notification bell so you never miss content, thumbs up if you like it here, and help us reach more like-minded gamers simply by sharing this video. Consider supporting Foxy Games UK via Patreon, and or grab yourself a Foxy Games UK branded t-shirt or hoodie, available now in various colours and designs. You'll find both links in the video's description. Truly appreciate the support. But that concludes our time together today. Certainly great hanging out, but until the next video, remember, play games, not corporations.